Next, I want to switch gears and introduce to you the concept of consumer surplus. So here we have a table, and on this table it shows us price and the quantity demanded at each price. So remember how I said that quantity demanded was a single row on a table? Well, this might be the row. Well, how much is being demanded? The quantity is being demanded at a price of $2 is 9 units. So then we have this demand table, this table that shows the relationship between price and quantity. And we have our demand curve, and we actually graph our demand curve down here. Well, consumer surplus takes that one step a little bit further. So let's say that you're a consumer and you pay $6 for 5 units. You would be willing to, at a price of $6, you would be willing to buy and consume 5 units. Now, would you be willing to pay more? Well, yeah. If the price was $10, you'd still be willing to pay more for a good, but you would just buy less of it. If the price was $8, you would buy this product at $8, you would just buy less goods. This brings in the concept of consumer surplus. Consumer surplus is the amount is the difference between the amount that the consumer is willing to pay and they actually paid. So think about it this way. What if you're walking in to go and buy, say, a brand new pair of jeans, and you'd say, I'd be willing to spend $60 on a new pair of jeans because I need a new pair of jeans. But you walk in and they only cost $40. And you think to yourself, hot dog, I just got a deal, right? Well, that's consumer surplus. There's a difference between the amount that you would be willing to pay and the amount that you did pay. And that difference, the difference between the amount that you would be willing and the amount that you did pay, is a surplus to you. It's extra in your pocket. You had an extra $20. It's like you saved $20, right? So that is your consumer surplus. The amount that you paid, the difference between the amount that you paid and the amount that you would have been willing to pay. And by calculating this consumer surplus, it allows economists to actually place a monetary value on the gains or the losses attributed to a price change. So, how much did this business lose by setting their prices at $40 rather than $60? I might have lost out on a sale or two. And exactly how much did they lose? Well, it allows them to place a monetary value on the gains. So let's look at consumer surplus. Let's assume that you would be willing to buy at a price of $10 or $11, or you would be willing to buy 0 goods at a price of $11. So, the price currently is at $6. So the ABC area, this area right here, from point A to point C, or from point A to point B to point C, is the measure of the excess that the consumer would be willing to pay to consume 5 units. So that is the excess. That is the surplus that consumer would have been willing to pay. This ABC is a surplus that the consumer would have been willing to pay in order to still consume that good. They would have been willing to pay $8 or even $9, but because the price was lower, they were willing to buy 5 units. Now, what happens if the price falls to $5? Well, if the price falls to $5, this person, they got even better deal, right? It's like you walk in and that price was $40 for the pair of jeans, and now it's only $30. Heck, you got even a better deal. I'm willing to pay $60, but now it's only costing me $30. So my consumer surplus actually went up. And the economic well-being to the consumer would actually increase by this area B, C, D, E, or B, C, D, E. The consumer economic well-being for the consumer would increase by that much. A loss in the same amount would occur if prices rose from $5 to $6. So in our example, prices fell from 6 to 5. But if they rose from 5 to 6, we would see a decrease in the in the consumer surplus. So prices increase from $5 to $6. Let's just kind of go with this mathematical example real quick. Prices increased from $5 to $6. Consumer surplus was at A, D, E. This triangle right here. It was at A, D, E before. That's what our consumer surplus was whenever prices were at $5. So what is the value? What is the total area of A, D, and E? Well, we're going to have to use a little bit of math to figure that out. Remember that this is prices over here, and this is quantity down here. So it's going to be showing us how much we're actually spending in this area. So this area that is actually highlighted is the total amount of money that is being spent. So we're going to calculate the area of the triangle ADE. So how do we do that? Well, we take the price up here at point A, so that would be $11, minus the price down here at 5, so that's a grand total of $6. The difference between 11 and 5 is 6. And then we take the actual amount consumed from 0 all the way out to 6. So again, we have the price change of $6 and the quantity change of 6. We're going to multiply both of those together and divide it by half to find the area of a triangle. If you're unfamiliar with how to find the area of a triangle, go look up that formula. So we take a price change of 6 and a quantity change of 6, times those together, divide it in half to find the area. We see that the area of the triangle ADE is $18. Now, the area of the triangle ABC, because what happens if prices go up? Well, the triangle of ABC, we can do that same math. We find out that that surplus is $12.50. So, if we take the $18 of consumer surplus before the price change, minus the loss, or minus the consumer surplus after the change, we find a loss of $5.50. We find out that consumers actually lose $5.50 overall. They actually lose that amount because the prices increase. So why is this even important? Who would even be concerned with this? Well, the changes in consumer surplus represents the change in the economic benefits to consumers, and it might bring in the aspect of a policy change. So if you're a policymaker and you're worried about the economic benefit to consumers, you're worried about how much prices are and what is a price increase going to do to consumers as a whole, you might be wanting to come up with some kind of policy change to benefit consumers. So we would use this economic surplus, or this consumer surplus, to find out if a price increase or a price decrease is going to be if a price decrease is going to be a benefit to consumers, and by how much, and is it going to offset the loss to producers. So the government might be concerned, or the policymakers might be concerned with this demand curve in order to find out consumer surplus, in order to determine whether or not these consumers are really getting what they need.